To practice our drifting skills. Yes, I strongly don't like people to drift on the road. It's too dangerous because it cause harm to other people.
If drifting is potentially hazardous, why the interest? What benefits can we derive from the sport?
Drifting is basically a very friendly skill and an entertaining skill that can be acquired by everybody of all races and of all age group, as long as they are able to control the wheels behind the car. We are trying to create a culture here, hope that everybody can actually share the same kind of enthusiasm towards car. And in view of that, we also hope that the culture can eventually help to promote motoring sports in Singapore as well.
The need for speed. That's what we all want, isn't it? But that's not what we always get in reality. A major software corporation saw an emerging interest in motorsports and was quick to react to trends.
Forza Motorsport's the second instalment in the award-winning Motorsport series. So the franchise we launched about 3 years ago, and what this is it's a simulation game. At the moment, it's the best simulation experience in the market today. I guess at the heart of Forza Motorsport too is an incredibly powerful physics engine. That physics engine is wrapped in a technology called Drivatar, which is essentially an artificial intelligence technology. For the layman, what that means is you've got thousands upon thousands of possibilities to tune your vehicle.
Firstly, I can paint the car to any color that I want to. And in terms of painting the car, the choice of colors from the normal colors to metallic colors to even special colors or even manufacturer colors where you can choose. In addition to that, what you can do is you can actually paint certain parts of the car. For example, the brake calipers, the bonnet, the mirrors, and even the spoiler.
Wait a minute. Don't all these sound familiar? Aren't virtual speedsters doing what their real-life counterparts are doing?
In terms of engine, what you can do is you can change your exhaust intakes, engine block. You can even get into changing a new turbo. And everything that you have in this game is interesting because the parts are actually aftermarket branded parts. You can change the gearing, the alignment, the anti-roll bars, how hard you want the springs to be, how low you want it to be. Now, there are many races you can choose from, right? And the more cars that you collect, the more races you can compete, the more credits you have, you can actually buy cars.
It's racing without being on a racetrack. Speeding while you remain rooted to a spot. So who would drive the Forza?
With Forza Motorsport from day one, we've really set out to introduce gamers to motor racing and motor racing enthusiasts to gameplay. So essentially two audiences, but at the very core it's racing fans. You don't need to have a license in Singapore to drive Forza Motorsport, so whether you're 14 years old or you're 65 years old, you can sit in the comfort of your own home and play Forza Motorsport on Xbox Live.
It's literally a simulation game whereby you can learn a lot about your car, about parts, about customizing, about driving. Basically, you spend a lot of time, endless fun, understanding more about driving, motoring, about different parts, different cars, what different things can do. It's all about the physics. At the end of the day, it's not just about customizing, it's about racing, it's about the whole driving experience, it's about a whole learning experience.
Whoa, if that didn't pump up your blood pressure, I don't know what else will. Well, we've come to the end of this week's show. I'm just hoping you enjoyed what we showed you as much as I enjoyed showing it to you. Next week, we're going to go totally opposite direction, showing you technologies that keep the environment clean and green. Drive safe and buckle up. I'm Timothy Go. That's it.
Channel News Asia, a network of MediaCorp News.
Catch this program plus many more on Mob TV.
What is Gaia?
Diet?
Gaia is how do you perform Gaia?
It's a brand of something.
Isn't that a dancer? Never heard it.
We don't know who Gaia is, sorry.
It's a bread jump. Gaia.
Gaia God?
mythological name for Earth?
Do I know what Gaia is? Yeah, planet Earth. We should take care of the planet. It's our mother.
Patience. Anticipation. Concentration. Expectation.
Providing Asian perspectives in an ever-changing landscape. Channel News Asia.
10 of the Marines were beheaded. The troops were ambushed on the southern island of Basilan. A spokesman for the Moro Islamic Liberation Front has confirmed some of its members had been involved in the clash. Recent food and floods and landslides in China have killed at least 360 people. Many are also forced to evacuate. Humans aren't the only ones affected by the flooding there. 2 billion rodents are also running for their lives to escape their rising waters. Hunan province has been the hardest hit, with farmers paying the highest price. China has announced it will shut small or unregulated food processors, reducing the number of firms by half as authorities investigate yet another food scandal. State media says Shenzhen is investigating news that sick and dying pigs were slaughtered and sold in the market. And you are up to date this hour here on Channel News Asia. So what do Al Gore and Timothy Go have in common? Well, he's an established environmental activist, and I'm just starting out to be one. Let's just say I'm a wannabe environmental activist. At least for now. You might change your mind at the end of the show. First, let me ask you this. How much impact are we having on the environment? From laptop usage to traveling, even washing and drying our clothes, the amount of e-waste we emit adds up. But it's not too late to save Mother Earth. Appliances and electronics manufacturers are starting to do it, and so should we. With all this talk about high-tech products and showcase of the latest gadgets, trends in the IT industry are being created faster than the fashion catwalks. And that means devices are becoming obsolete faster than before. Some environmental techies might get their old products recycled, but according to Greenpeace International, tons and tons of electronic waste products are either dumped into landfills or are sent to countries like China and India, creating huge toxic waste problems there. Toxic substances such as lead, mercury, or cadmium are released into the environment if e-waste is not treated properly. The good news is more companies are starting to pay attention to the environment, and almost every major electronic manufacturer website I looked into has a sustainability report. It seems climate change is also spearheading changes in the IT industry. Recycling and the phasing out of toxic components is a key mantra in many IT companies. IT heavyweights HP makes it easy to recycle right from the very beginning.
Design for Environment is once again a HP pioneering effort, and that's been part of our business for also many, many years and reported in our citizenship report, our corporate citizenship report for many years. What it entails is that we obviously evaluate and the products that make up a particular piece of hardware. And of course, whilst hardware can be recycled, there are lots of materials in hardware that can't be recycled. That is, once once they're dismantled, there's no other use for them. So the concept behind Design for Environment is looking at the kind of components that make up the hardware and ensure that they are all, once the piece of hardware is dismantled, that each component can be recycled or reused in some aspect, which means that there's zero impact on landfill. So no part of the computer or the hardware will go back into landfill.
Printers are dismantled and the parts are sorted and turned into various raw materials, such as plastic pellets, even gold. While e-waste might seem like less of a personal responsibility, let me bring the issue of energy closer to home. Some handy tips and devices to have around the house will not only cut those bills, but also lower your carbon footprint. Electricity consumption differs throughout the world. In the United States, it's 11,209 kilowatt per year, but only 5,945 kilowatt per year in Japan. The difference might lie in how you consume electricity and how energy efficient your appliances are. It also helps to have smart devices.
Adaptive defrost. And that's a pretty sophisticated system. It actually learns the usage patterns of the refrigerator. So if, for example, you're a busy mum at home and you've got particularly teenage boys coming in the afternoon and lots of refrigerator door openings and closings, the refrigerator actually learns the period of the day when the refrigerators are getting high usage, say typically between 3:30 and 6:30 in the afternoon. So what the system does is it actually lowers the temperature slightly, lower than normal ahead of that time, to preserve the overall temperature in the refrigerator.
And to make cooking more energy efficient, switch to induction. It is 80 to 90% more energy efficient than gas.
There are a number of things that consumers can do to save energy in the hob. The first thing, which is fairly important, is that they select cookware, which has, I'll just take this handy ruler out of the condiments here, has a flat bottom. Because it's very important that the maximum contact area with the flat hob imparts transfer of heat or transfer of energy between the cookware or what is being cooked and the energy source itself. So that's very, very important on electric hobs.
Besides buying yourself more eco-friendly appliances, you might want to think about switching to better habits of electrical use.
It's a fairly simple thing. It's actually turning light globes on and off. If you look at halogen globes and the compact fluorescent, or those energy-saving globes, the amount of energy needed to start them up is fairly significant. So if a consumer walks out of a room and then back in, say, over a 5-minute period and turns the light off and back on again, they could actually be using more energy than leaving the lamp on.
Well, that's something I didn't know, but it doesn't sound like it will take a lot of effort. Now, if you're still wondering how to lower your carbon footprint, take a leaf from these websites. Or you can also check out Greenpeace International. Some simple ways to keep the e-waste we leave to a minimal. It's not really that hard once we get around to doing it. We'll be right back.
Talk to me.
Businesses that understand success understand being different. And they know to realize success, they need a partner who understands what they understand. They recognize each customer is unique, with diverse goals and different needs. We've over 10,000 offices in 82 countries, tailoring solutions for your business. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Coming up this week on Gillette World Sport, we're at full throttle with MotoGP's championship leader Casey Stoner in Paris for round 2 of the IAAF Golden League, and getting to know Nike's world champion adventure race team. All this and more on Gillette World Sport, Friday at 8:30 p.m. on Channel News Asia.
I've got to be honest with you, George. I think your son has natural ability. He holds the record like Agassi. One day he may be number one.
I am Gaia, the Earth Mother. Not just a ball of rock and water, but a living organism. I am beautiful beyond words, a radiant entity of blue and green, the colors of peace and tranquility. I have given birth to a myriad of species, from microbes to dinosaurs, and of course, you, the Homo sapiens. I am Gaia, Mother Earth.
苏州是人间天堂，但是我们的园区，我比喻讲就是天堂当中的瑶池。
A township dream realized as a transforming Suzhou industrial park powers ahead.
园区的开发建设者，专注于、高度重视于，就是追求完美，追求一流。
Sanctuary of the East, Friday at 7:30 p.m.
Talk to me.
We always complain about the heat and humidity here in the tropics or the endless scorching sunshine, but I guarantee soon you'll be thankful for all the sun. If only it doesn't come with the heat. We've been told time and time again that the Earth is slowly dying because we're just consuming too much oil, too much gas, too much coal. But actually, how serious is it? Come on, it can't be that bad.
If we continue to use oil and gas and continue to put out carbon emissions into the atmosphere, I think there will be severe climatic effects. So that is obviously one area. But I think there are also other issues. One is the fact that oil and gas are supplies which are concentrated in certain countries and certain regions of the world. And therefore, there can be instability of supply, not necessarily resulting from things running out, very quickly, but sometimes it's because of, perhaps political decisions, acts of terrorism, and all this.
The sun is not the only renewable energy around. We all know that. There are, of course, other ways to save the Earth. But for now, the abundance of sunlight we're getting, solar energy, is definitely an alternative.
Solar has the advantage of being available in almost every place in the world compared to other renewable energy resources. For example, if you look at wind or hydropower, for example, whereas solar is available to different degrees perhaps in different places, but even the worst places will still have solar, and therefore it's something that we can try to exploit.
To exploit this energy, a group of professors and students from Singapore's Nanyang Technological University devised what's called a solar photovoltaic system. This PVC system taps into the world's greatest renewable energy source, the sun.
Basically, a PV system is a semiconductor device where when the sunlight shines on it, it converts the light energy directly into electricity. And this electricity is in the form of a direct voltage, what we call a DC current. And this energy, if you were to utilize it for loads which requires an AC, it needs to be converted to an AC. Okay, and that's where part of the solar energy system, works by converting the DC voltage into an AC voltage.
The concept is not new, of course, harvesting energy from the sun. But this research hopes to improve on what is already available for us.
A lot of research still needs to be done so that we can harness more energy from the solar panels, and also to bring the cost of the solar energy system down to a level which we can compete with the oil and gas sources.
For every new technology, of course, we have the early adopters. And this homeowner is one of them, powering up his home in Singapore with solar energy. Alan's father installed solar panels on their rooftop 5 years ago and has since relied on the sun to generate power for all his home electrical needs. The decision piqued Alan's interest in harvesting solar energy. So now, the 21-year-old is a self-confessed green person.
I wasn't a very environmentally friendly person in the start. I always use a lot of energy, switch on 2 computers at one time and switch on the aircon and just maybe sleep in my room. And after my dad gave me this idea about environmental friendliness, then he also installed the solar panels. I started researching on the ways to save energy. Our solar panels are installed on the roof up there. There are 55 panels on the back of the roof and there are 22 panels in the front. So altogether there are 77 solar panels. These solar panels run parallel with our power grid so that they can supply part of the energy in the day. I'm recording down the daily values of the solar energy collected for today. These are inverters converting DC energy to AC energy. By turning this knob here, I can check the yesterday's energy collected for this array and record it down in this book.
The system certainly doesn't come cheap. It cost Alan almost $52,000 for 77 solar panels. And the household only saved $45 a month on electrical bills.
In the future, I think consumers will accept solar energy as one of their energy sources. That will also depend on the government, because like Germany, they give about 2 times the price per unit rebate to the consumers. So if our government does that, then the break-even time will be shorter also.
Of course, some of us don't wish to spend a bomb on solar paneling our homes. So here's a new gadget to kickstart your eco-friendly journey. Meet the Eneloop Solar Charger. It's made by Sanyo, a compact device containing photovoltaic cells that absorb sunlight, charging the internal lithium battery. You can then charge your batteries in just a few hours. Or you can plug in your USB cable for your laptops, PDAs, or iPod. You can use them anywhere, anytime. So if you ask me, it beats having to constantly find an electrical socket. Hot stuff indeed, and I am just sweating. The temperatures are really on the rise. But coming up next, we'll show you cars that will help you slow down global warming.
Talk to me.
Businesses that understand success understand being different. And they know to realize success, they need a partner who understands what they understand. They recognize each customer is unique, with diverse goals and different needs. We've over 10,000 offices in 82 countries, tailoring solutions for your business. HSBC, the world's local bank.
我们土家说人物俊秀，居住在这样的一个山区啊，山好水好，而且大致上给我们一些财富，也是其他地方感到羡慕的。
Beautiful Naturally, Thursday, 8:30 p.m.
Documentary lovers, now is the time. Tell us your preferred documentary genre and why Singapore should watch what you recommend. you stand a chance to win the limited Documentary of the Week Crystal Gift Set. Send in your entries from the 11th to 25th of July and make your decision known on My Documentary of the Week.
Sunday. Roads, power plants, ports. Infrastructure spending in Asia is set to surge to support higher levels of growth.
Not enough money has gone into infrastructure. So for anyone who has been to Vietnam, you see the congestion on the road, power blackouts, congestions in the ports.
So how can investors tap into the boom? And what's fueling growth for furniture maker Lorenzo? Money Mind, Sunday, 9:30 p.m.
This program is brought to you by Subaru Tribeca.
Talk to me.
In the last few months, the prices of gasoline shot up, and so did sales of hybrid cars. But of course, those of you who bought hybrid cars bought for one motivation: to save on fuel costs. After all, the hybrid is amazing with fuel economy, but apart from saving you money, it goes a long way in saving Mother Earth. This man thinks he can still save the Earth. So he decided to buy a hybrid car 6 months ago.
I would like to make a statement for the environment, right? It shows that I am a socially responsible, environmentally responsible person. And the other reason is, well, I wish to save some money.
Yes, saving some money on your gasoline. And perhaps making less trips to the petrol station to fill her up.
Within the 6 months that I've driven the Prius, I've saved, I've used up only half as much fuel as I would normally need to. Right, and it's also more convenient. I only need to go to the service station once every 2 weeks instead of once a week. And I drive a lot, right? About one tank gets me maybe about 950 kilometers, and that is a lot, about twice as much as you would get on a regular car.
But that's not Bernard's only reason for buying his Toyota Prius. He also wants you to know that he is doing what he can in his capacity as an ordinary citizen to keep the air you and I breathe as toxic-free as possible.
By making a statement, the environmental movement is basically a grassroots movement anyway. And if more people, make a stand, make a statement for the environment, then I think the rest of the people around will sit up and take notice and perhaps do the same.
Pollution and smog in many major Asian cities are on the rise. It is no wonder then that more and more people are test driving and then driving away